Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today I'm going to be ranking the first 7 Los Santos Mercenaries DLC vehicles that have been added into Grand Theft Auto Online as part of the Los Santos Mercenaries DLC that came out today. Now before we get into this ranking, there is something that you must know. This list is 100% factual and cannot be argued with. Everything that I say is the truth and nothing but the truth, and if you disagree, you are simply wrong, and you must accept these terms and conditions to continue with the video. If you cannot accept these terms and conditions, you should exit off of the video immediately. However, if you wish to proceed, let's go ahead and get started with number 7. At number 7, the worst vehicle from the DLC so far is the Streamer 216 or the Streamer 216, coming in at $2,238,000. How is this a $2.2 million plane? I don't really know. It's kind of strange. It does have some weapon upgrades that are generally useless. The machine guns do pretty good damage, but they're quite hard to aim. And it also has 50 bombs, which is pretty standard for planes in GTA. So that's nothing really that special. Again, $2.2 million, and then with upgrades, it's probably closer to $3 million. So that's kind of awful. However, something that I did notice about the Streamer 216 is that it glides really well if the engines fail or if you shut the engines off manually, which is kind of a useless feature. In GTA, like, not having your engines on isn't going to provide you with much like stealth or anything, because obviously you still show up on the radar and people are still going to know you're coming. So yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of cool to have like a glider sort of plane in GTA, even though it's not really a glider. But yeah, so it's pretty bad and uninteresting, but it's something new, I guess. I definitely would have rather seen a Trackhawk or a new updated G-Wagon or almost anything but the Streamer 216. But yeah, it's the worst plane of the DLC and the worst vehicle of the DLC thus far. I'm sure Rockstar's going to top it sometime, but for right now, it's definitely the worst vehicle from the DLC so far. With that being said, let's move on to the next worst vehicle from the DLC. At number 6, you may have seen this one coming. This is the Vapid Click Wagon, coming in at $1,205,000 and worse than the regular Vapid Click in every single way except for the amount of pure customization options that are available to be put on the car. So that's the only advantage it has over the regular Click, is that it's got more customization for an additional $300,000. I would honestly argue that it's almost, well, not almost. I would argue that the Vapid Click Wagon is uglier than the regular Vapid Click for sure, due to its wood paneling. Now the wood paneling is kind of a cool option to have. It's kind of nice, except it's not really an option because you have to have it. So it's not an option. You have the wood or you don't have the car. So take your pick. Now it does have some additional customization options. I will say the customization is pretty cool. You can also change the color of the wood, which is pretty neat. But again, it's a vehicle. Who asked for the Vapid Click Wagon? I know I didn't. I don't think you guys did. I mean, if you're an old classic car fanatic, I guess it's like cool, but I would have rather had, yeah, a Trackhawk or new updated G-Wagon or pretty much anything else, except for like the Streamer 216. But yeah, anything but the Vapid Click Wagon or the Streamer 216, I'd be fine with it, with anything but those two vehicles. But yeah, anything but those would be an improvement, but nonetheless, we have not got our way with that, unfortunately. I wish they would add vehicles that people actually want instead of this stuff, but it could be worse, I guess, sort of, maybe. At number 5, we have the Vapid Ratel, coming in at $1,873,000. Not really a bad vehicle in any way, just a little bit underwhelming for nearly $2 million. But it is kind of a breath of fresh air in GTA Online, a little bit, because we don't have many sort of trophy truck type of things. Somebody commented on my video and told me that it's not actually a trophy truck. That's just kind of a point of reference I used because it's similar to a trophy truck. I think it is a very cool car. I think it's a very cool vehicle for sure. Definitely a pretty decent off-roader, although it's not the best and most consistent off-road. It's still fun to drive, I would say. It's definitely fun to drive on like a dirt road rather than just like pure off-road, like in the grass, through the hills, over rocks, stuff like that. It doesn't really handle that sort of thing very well, but it is, you know, generally a pretty cool vehicle. It's not that exceptional or anything, but it's still cool. The customization is pretty decent, and overall I like the look of the vehicle. I like the performance of it generally, but yeah, definitely not anything to write home about, but far from the worst vehicle from the DLC, that's for sure. At number 4, we have the Declasse Walton L35, coming in at $1,670,000. Extremely overpriced, but still quite a cool vehicle. Almost satisfying the need for a square body in GTA Online, except not quite hitting the mark because it's not based on the right vehicle that most people want. However, it is still a pretty decent vehicle. I'm not overly disappointed with it. It reminds me a lot of the Karen Bohr from the Los Santos Drug Wars DLC that we got released into the game a few months ago. It reminds me a lot of that thing. Like when I say a lot, it's like a lot. I feel like they're almost based on the same like chassis or something like that, or the same, you know, the same coating or whatnot. It's a very cool vehicle though. The customization complements it very well. It is very good off-road. It's quite quick as well. It's all-wheel drive. Definitely going to be one of the better off-roaders in GTA. It might even shake up the off-roaders class in GTA as well, which would be quite cool to see actually. Overall, the Walton isn't the greatest vehicle of the DLC. However, it's definitely not a disappointment, I would say, except to those people who are wanting a different square body. But even then, take what you can get. That's what I've learned to say. Overall, a decent vehicle. Time to move on to number 3. At number 3, we have the Maybotsu Monstrosity. I previously called this car the Monstro City because I'm very tired and I didn't understand that it's the monstrosity. Anyways, it goes for $1,485,000, which honestly, for the price, I don't think this is actually a bad vehicle at all. I was actually very impressed with this car, and it also has an HSW upgrade, which I've come to learn on the expanded and enhanced edition on the PS5 as well as the Xbox Series S and X. So that's pretty awesome, which also means additional customization for those two platforms, which is cool. PC couldn't possibly handle having HSW or anything like that, which is the platform that I play and record on. My RTX 4080 could not handle HSW, I'm telling you right now. So it's a good thing Rockstar didn't add it, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to cover this DLC. At least that's the lie I tell myself. But anyways, the Monstrosity has some really good customization and really good performance to back up the customization and the overall look of the vehicle. I do like this thing a lot. It's got decent ground clearance. Overall, it's a very good little unit, and I definitely think that this one could 100% shake up the off-road category. When it comes to racing, I think that this is definitely better than the Walton L35 as far as speed and acceleration and handling go. Overall, I don't think it's necessarily a better off-roader like for rock crawling and stuff like that, but I would say that it is generally a better vehicle than the Walton, and it's got some really cool customization as well. And obviously having an HSW upgrade is also a huge improvement over the Walton for those of you who have the HSW upgrade available to you. So that's very good. Overall, the Monstrosity, definitely the third best vehicle of day one of the DLC for sure. On to number 2. Here we are at number 2. We have the Grotti Italia GTO Stinger TT, which is an absolute mouthful to say. There's way too many T's and O's going on there. But anyways, yeah, the Grotti Italia GTO Stinger TT goes for $2,380,000, and it is a pretty decent car. It's another one that has HSW as well. It's got some really good customization options, I noticed, and some of them are actually new, something that we haven't seen on other cars before in GTA. Now, don't get me wrong, some of the things are on other cars in GTA, but some of the spoiler options and things like that are brand new and unique to this car, which I think is very good. Thank you, Rockstar, for giving us something actually new for a vehicle. Very good to see. Yeah, like I said, it has an HSW upgrade. Apparently it's not that great with HSW. Without HSW, I think it's a decent enough car to drive. It's definitely one for free mode. You're not going to win any races with it, I don't think, even with the HSW upgrade. The handling just isn't there, unfortunately. Now, it does have an active rear spoiler, which begs the question, is it going to have a broken downforce value? We're not sure yet. We're gonna have to wait for Breathy1322 to do some testing before we find that out, and I'm sure he's gonna get to the bottom of it very soon. But generally, cars with active spoilers don't handle very well in GTA because Rockstar does something wrong with the downforce values, and spoilers don't add any downforce to the cars, a lot of the time at least. Hopefully the Italia GTO Stinger TT is a little bit different than some of the other active rear spoilered cars in GTA, but I guess we'll just have to see. So yeah, definitely the second best vehicle from the DLC so far. And of course, at number 1, we have the F-160 Raju, which goes for $5,141,250 if you have the trade price unlocked. Or if you don't have the trade price unlocked, it goes for $6,855,000. This is definitely the best vehicle from the entire DLC. It is a stealth plane, which is a first ever in GTA unless you count the Alkanos, but this is actually a true stealth plane. You activate stealth mode and you don't have to be at a certain height or anything like that for the stealth to get activated, which is very cool. It also has 2 explosive autocannons that are front facing on it, which are very good. They do one-shot NPC cars that are just driving around. Not sure how they will fare against armored units, but we're going to find that out in the next couple of days here, I am very sure. I think this is going to be a very good plane for PvP. It's also got homing missiles and non-homing missiles, which is very nice to have the ability to switch between both of those. And of course, it is a VTOL plane similar to the Hydra, although it is a much stronger plane than the Hydra when it comes to VTOL. You can go up and down in this plane very, very quickly. And it's also very fast. It's a very fast plane. I can tell right away when I got in it, it was just extremely quick. And it's got some pretty good handling. You can of course do race handling on it as well to improve its turning and everything like that. So overall, the F-160 Raju, as you probably would have expected, is the best vehicle from the DLC on day 1. And I have a feeling that unless something absolutely insane happens, the F-160 Raju will still be the #1 vehicle when I re-rank all of the vehicles once they get released in a few months after Rockstar's prolific drip feeding is done. Anyway guys, that is it for my video ranking the first 7 LS Mercenaries DLC vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. Feel free to let me know in the comments down below that my ranking is 100% correct and factual. And if you do decide that after watching this video that you disagree with me, just know that you are 100% incorrect. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, in fact, leave a like please, it does help me out a lot. Dislike if you didn't enjoy or if you think that I'm wrong, I guess, but even though I'm 100% right. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.